What is going on, Movie Meals Sensei? Yes, we're here for Cobra Kai. I wish I had. I've got the
Yeah, where
Miyagi
is it?
bandana. I don't know. I have moved
Where
so
is
many
it?
times. I've moved a lot. I don't. I don't know. It could be anywhere. I
Oh
know I
no.
found it. No, I was like, not getting rid of this, and tossed it into the keep box. But
Well,
I don't
clearly
know
it
where
was
the
the wrong
keep box
box.
ended up. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's in the.
lost
I think
it.
it's in the storage unit. I think it's in our storage unit. Um,
Brutal. You've had it for every one of these.
but we are here for the Cobra Kai season 3 review. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It
Woo.
quietly got bought over. Like quietly, Netflix was like, we got Cobra Kai now. And everybody went, Cobra what?
Who?
Before we get too crazy, we got to shout out to our patrons. We have a couple top tier patrons. So shout out to Steve and Kimberly. Those two, you rock. There's the smiles. Go on, just wait for the surprise on that new patron. You guys
Love
rock.
it.
Thanks for the support. We really appreciate it. Guys, if you are not a member of the patron, go follow the link in the description. Go be a patron to us. Help a tiny channel survive. And also go check out our merch, which is awesome. Not wearing it any today. Didn't wear it to work. I literally just got home. But it is great stuff. I just got the sweatpants the other day. Oh my
Ooh.
gosh, they are so comfortable. I want to take them off. I'm bummed I have to from my job. But all right, Cobra Kai. So yeah, Netflix quietly kind of bought it, and this was a good move because you can get more eyes on it. Not enough people are doing this YouTube Red, and I think YouTube kind of realized that their originals only work for their creators. I think is really what it is. The shows that their
Oh.
creators are in, that YouTube stars are in, I think where it worked. And there was just too many of the people who made a quick account for a free trial to watch it real quick and then call it a day. So Netflix getting it's awesome. I know that over the weekend it was like I think it was their number one show. Watch this weekend. It's been one of their top 3 since consistently. It could still be top 1. But
It was like a top show when it finally got on Netflix.
yeah,
Like around
yeah,
when we were
no,
rewatching it
because
too.
you
So
know that there were so many people that just looked at it and was like, Cobra, you mean Karate Kid? Like,
that
all those
YouTube
dads were like,
show
what?
that was
Heck,
on
they might have
YouTube,
even not
right?
even known it was on YouTube. They would have been like, where has this been all my life? Because it is
Yeah.
so good. I love the first 2 seasons. So we're gonna get into a non-spoiler review. Kyle, what were your positives of this season of Cobra Kai?
The positive is that season 1 and 2 are fantastic. And then you're like, well, is season 3 just going to be as fantastic? Like, there's no way they can continue this streak. And somehow they're able to make this season just as fantastic. It's crazy. Like, they
It's the
stick
best yet.
it. I would agree too, to be honest.
Best
Like,
yet.
you always worry about like when's the ball gonna drop, but these guys, like you can clearly tell that the creators of this show, this cast, like they love Cobra. I know Alex is probably not the
No,
one that's worries.
you're the only
I'm
one
the
that worries.
one.
Nobody else
I am the
worries
worrier as
but
compared
you
to
and your
him.
DC shill fans.
They're
You put up billboards, you demand the Snyder cut, and
let's
that's
not
what you want.
that's no hey, leave me out of that stuff. That's a whole rabbit hole that I'm not a
It's
part of.
you that
Let's get
worries.
DC out of here and move on to Cobra Kai.
I
This is the stuff we
trust
need to
these
be
men.
talking about. But no, like at this point I'm with Alex. Like I have to keep on trusting these guys. Like they clearly love the Karate Kid franchise so much that they just treat it with such care, with such kindness, with such love, and they just delivered another fantastic season. They stick with the themes throughout this show of where, not everything is black and white. Good is not necessarily always good. Evil is not necessarily always evil, except for Kreese, but we'll get into him later. But I just love that they stick with the themes and they keep having these characters that we know from, the past movies, like grow up and, grow up with the times and grow up with, their struggles and their demons and be able to, redeem themselves and learn things in some ways. And when it comes to like the new cast of characters, like I love seeing the progressions of a lot of them. Like they're clearly, dealing with the aftermath of what happened with season 2. Like we're seeing them deal with anxiety. We're seeing them deal with, uh, characters having to come back from, the nasty falls that they had throughout the end of the end battle of season 2, and they were able to, watch them overcome those struggles too. Like, it's just fun to watch all these characters go through these motions, and at the same time there's such real stuff, but it's such a cheesy premise of, warring karate dojos in California, like fighting each other. They're all like high schoolers. It's ridiculous, but for some reason the ridiculousness still works while still keeping intact like these characters and making them feel real and authentic. So somehow all that balance and treating this franchise with such love just keeps on continuing. And it's just so nice to see, especially with so many reboots happening lately, to where it doesn't feel authentic or it doesn't feel like it's treated well. This is one of the few that does.
Yeah, the 3 creators, John, Hayden, and Josh, those guys are just clear fans of they're fans of the Karate Kid. I love the Karate Kid movies. I have loved them since I saw them, to the point where when I first saw them, I went to my mom and said, I need to learn karate at 12 years old or whatever I was. And my brother was like, me too. And then we took karate classes. And it is just an absolute incredible show. And they're able to handle, a lot of the problems I've had with a show like 13 Reasons Why, which obviously is dealing with a very different and more intense subject matter. But they go very cheesy in a lot of their stuff, to the point where it stands out in a very bad way. The CW does that with everything.
Yes.
They have maybe a couple of shows that have a couple of okay seasons or good seasons that are able to kind of make the cheese work. This show is how you make cheese work. Mm-hmm. This is how you make it work, because sometimes, like, when the fighting first starts, I go, that's a little choreographed, and then it keeps going. I'm like, I don't care. This is incredible.
But I like it.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower for the old guys, but it's also, they're old now, so they're not moving as quick.
They still look awesome though.
They do, and this show is just so good. I mean, some of the dialogue is a bit cheesy, but it just works. I mean, and they handle the world so well. We talk about a show like 13 Reasons Why, again, different subject matter, but the way that world handles kids acting out in such a crazy way that's not really realistic, compared to the way the parents act in that show, makes no sense that it stands out poorly. The way the kids act in this and the way the parents respond is
especially
brilliant.
In this season.
Yes. Oh
yes.
My gosh. Especially Mrs. LaRusso. My
the
God.
best character.
She will just walk in, it's not real spoiled, but she'll just walk in and be like, look, I'm over this. No more karate, because this is absurd. There is a gang fight happening at our schools. Like, what is going on?
There's
just so many lines. There's a scene where they are where they're in like a public forum, without giving too much away. And there is a scene where literally all the parents are like kids are fighting at school. Karate is taken over in this weirdest way ever. They've become the jocks, and it makes no sense. And they're like, it's just incredible. It's just incredible. And the way that Daniel LaRusso is handled, the way they write him, as well as Johnny, is so good, because that they're adults, but they are so invested in their rivalry and in karate that they don't care at the end of the day. And it is amazing. I love it. I'm getting giddy talking about it. I love this show so much. It is now the best show on Netflix for me.
What I find that's so funny is that, and I noticed it a lot in this season, is that the two rival karate dojos, they think like they're the popular kids in the school, but one of them's like more edgy and the other one's like, no, like popular is cool, but we like friendship, that type of thing. But everyone else around them like clearly doesn't care. Like, if a karate fight breaks out, okay, I guess we'll watch this train wreck. Why not? But other than that, they're like, what is going on? Like, why is karate suddenly cool?
In this season, it really changed, because in last season, at the end of last season, it kind of goes in the environment is like, what is going on? These kids are like ballers. Like, what is all these moves? And now it's like, oh my gosh, there's those kids fighting again.
They're flipping over desks again. Here we go.
There is a soccer match in this season that is amazing. It is amazing.
I laughed so hard at that scene. Not because it was bad, but just because
it's amazing.
of how amazing and ridiculous it is.
Yeah,
And it goes
it's
back to what we're
ridiculous in a good
yeah.
way.
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
good. And they do some things with the Karate Kid lore of the original films that I really like. They bring some
Oh yeah.
characters back, which were teased
Mhm.
at the end of season 2, that I thought were great brings to
Yes.
bring in. I freaked out. This is not a spoiler because it was in the trailer, but if you watch our trailer on the channel, I really freak out because they bring a big character back in season or in Karate Kid 2. And
Yes.
I think Karate Kid 1 and 2 are actually on the same playing field. Like I think they are
Yeah.
both that good. 3 is a
Yeah.
little, it's the
It's
Back
a
to the
little
Future 3. You love it,
yeah.
and I love it
Yeah.
to death, but it's not what 1 and 2 are. And we
Mhm.
don't talk about the Jaden Smith one, the Elizabeth or not Elizabeth Shue, the Hillary Swank one.
Hillary
Not
Swank.
not bad though. It's a good little. I
Oh,
go. She better show up.
If Swank's not in the 4th season, we riot. Like there's no way around it.
I don't care if it's fourth, but she has to show up at some point. Like when we need a new
Mhm.
villain, like make Hillary Swank the villain. Like
The
she's got her own.
villain.
Make her. It's like she had her own
Miyagi wouldn't
dojo.
train a villain.
No. It's like she has her own dojo and she hears about all this stuff going on and she's like, no, this is Miyagi Do right now. And she comes in and she kind of becomes the villain because they're like, no, this is Miyagi Do. She's like, no, I'm Miyagi Do. Like that's
Right.
just what I want. And then they fight. I love the way this season ended. They definitely didn't tease for Hillary Swank to show up, but they teased some cool stuff, some
Or did
partnerships,
they? No.
some interesting things. We get a lot of backstory too to characters. Some of our villains, we get really cool backstories with John Kreese that I love. I love it. I think it's awesome. I did you like his backstory without going into spoilers? But did you like it?
I I didn't think it was necessary, but it made sense. Like, I mean, we had teases to his backstory before seeing like the full reveal, and those
We
teases
got it
were
in the
good.
third movie.
Yeah, exactly. In the show and in the 3rd movie, like there's teases, and you can kind of connect the dots and be like, okay, that's how he became to be who he is. And again, it's a ridiculous character, ridiculous villain, but it works for the show, for the movies, But I just didn't need that to be shown. It wasn't bad, but not something that I was dying to see. And when I did see it, I was like, oh yeah, that checks out. Like I buy that. So that was yeah.
I
So
wasn't
it was
dying to see it either, and then it showed up, and I was like, "This is all right. I'm into this." That was
yeah.
what
I
I
mean,
thought. I was like, "I dig it. I loved
yeah,
it. I loved the
yeah,
backstory."
yeah. But with the reintroduction of characters from part 2, that stuff I really did like as well. And it came back to what we mentioned earlier with the adult stuff. Like it shows them growing up, and it shows them understanding not everything's black and white, everything's just more in the gray area. And if you just learn about like your enemy, and it becomes like enemy is my friend type of thing. And I thought it was just really smart. It never felt like those reintroductions of those characters felt like it just like it happened
Yeah,
because it happened. It felt authentic enough, and it works for the themes throughout this story. And I really appreciated
and
that. You
there's some.
seeing something there, Al? You good?
There was a bug.
Big bug.
There's some like team switches. I mean, we've seen that from the
Mhm.
show before, but there's a couple of team switches throughout this season that I didn't like, and I didn't like them because that's how good they are. Because
Hmm.
I don't want my beloved characters maybe on the wrong side of villainy, or
Oh,
maybe on the
okay.
good side of goodney.
I'll
Um,
ask you about that after the show, but I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But let's get into the nitty gritty here. The performances are great, and
Yeah.
not only does Ralph Macchio bring it to the role of Daniel LaRusso, but his character gets to evolve. Daniel gets to
Mhm.
evolve, and that
Yeah.
is really cool because that is the core of why I love the movie so much. Is Daniel
Mhm.
LaRusso, and he gets to evolve in such a unique and interesting way. And we've seen so much of that from Johnny. It was nice to now take that and evolve it with him, and also evolve his karate a little bit, which we get to see, which is cool. Um, and I loved everything they did with some of the teases and the bringing of things back. I'd liked getting more of John Kreese's backstory because uh, it just fleshed him out more to me, and it made him less of just the bad guy because he's the bad guy to okay, I get why he's the bad guy, and it makes me actually not like him more. And it worked so well for me. Um, but now why don't we get to the kids?
Okay,
I
let's do it.
I love these kids. And
They're
if
awesome.
I gotta look up his name. I just let me pull up, unlock my phone here.
Who's the character? I have the list right here.
Well, it's Tanner Buchan is how you say it. Who plays
Oh,
Robbie?
Buchanan, probably. I
Is
think.
that what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just reading far away? Who plays Robbie? If
Mhm.
they were to do a Power Rangers live action sequel, this man needs to play Tommy because he has that swagger. I love it. And
Yeah,
I
he's a good
wanted
actor.
my only complaint of this season is I wish I had more of him because I love his storyline. I love
Uh-huh.
the way he goes. He is such a talented actor. All of the other kids who play Miguel and Samantha LaRusso, the kid who plays Hawk is awesome. I love
Mhm.
him.
Yeah, he's great.
Same with the kid who plays Dimitri. He is so good. This cast is so good. It was so well casted, and it feels so. When you watch the original Karate Kid, one of the things that really sticks out, and they even kind of touch on it in this season, is like Johnny is the jock. He is an older kid who is shredded. He's ripped. He's
Yeah.
strong. And Daniel's not. Daniel is a lot more shows up, and he's not like he's like unattractive, but he's just skinnier. He seems weaker. And in this show, they do that without doing that. It's so modern and it works. Like Dimitri doesn't look. I mean, yes, he's skinny and maybe weaker, but he doesn't necessarily look like the kid you throw in the trash can to me. He's just such a nerd. So when he starts balling out with his karate, I love it. Even with Hawk, like he's not this huge buff kid. He's still kind of a nerdy dork. I mean, he's definitely skinny and whatnot, but like you know what I mean? Like they're not the quintessential cast of like the karate athlete you think of when you think of what Johnny was in the first film. And I love that. It feels more modern. It feels real. These kids seem so much younger than they did in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
That it works. Like there are moments I'm like, these kids are saying the cheesiest lines, but they're so believable because they're in high school. And
Mhm.
that's what you say in high school. Like I'm
Yeah,
around high schoolers, like that's what they say. And it's
yeah.
it's just like I believe it if somebody picks up some nunchucks and says something cheesy and they want to get juking it out. I believe it. I
Well,
believe it.
no, I totally get what you mean because, like, the high school stuff, even though it dials up to 11, especially with all the karate aspects to it, like, it feels exactly like how high schoolers react to each other. While we see with the adults, even though, Johnny and Daniel, kind of act childish at times too, there's still adult conversations. Like,
Yeah.
adults are still acting like adults in this wacky situation, minus Crease. Like, he's the adult that still is acting just as wacky as the kids. But I do like those parallels. Like, somehow it all works, but like the high schoolers are feeling like high schoolers, even though everything's dialed up so much, while the adults, there's moments where they step away from that and they're like, okay, let's have adult conversations. Let's, not act like high schoolers anymore. That was a long time ago. And I just appreciate that. I appreciate that it feels like a mature show, even though it has its cheesy moments.
Yeah. And the karate's awesome. And there's more
Yeah,
karate in this season than any of them. And it's just so good. And it's really hyped me up for next season. And the
agreed.
way it ended, I just loved.
Oh yeah.
And all the performances. These kids are so good. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're getting smart directors. It's going to be to the point, I think, where when you hear of a TV director getting a role, you always hear like, oh, they did 3 episodes of Game of Thrones and 3 of Breaking Bad, or they did some Mad Men, or they hit this, Orange is the New Black. There's gonna be a moment where some of these directors like, oh, I did 4 episodes of Cobra Kai. I can handle a Marvel fighting movie. Like I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm ready. Give them a big budget. I'm ready. I love it. I'm so glad Netflix took this because they pump stuff out so quickly usually.
Sure.
Not as fast with maybe like The Witcher, obviously, or like Stranger Things, but a show like this, I could expect once a year, and I do.
Mhm.
I expect it right now. When it ended, I was like, "Are you kidding me? I want season 4 now. Like, I wish
Oh
it was a
yeah.
24 episode season because I want so much of it." Um, do you have any final thoughts as we wrap up here on our review of how incredible Cobra Kai really is?
I guess like if there's a bit of negatives because we really didn't talk about much. There were one or two
There's none.
developments and choices where I thought it was a bit quick, but I understand these shows are 10 episode 10 episodes, 30 minutes, so you kind of do have to rush a few things, but nonetheless, like I still think everything about this show is just so entertaining and so much fun. And like you were saying, I could have kept watching if there was more episodes, and I want season 4 now. Like just give it to me. I want to see how all of this goes, and I can't wait for what the future is in store for this show. Like I got to keep watching.
I have my one nitpick is I wanted more of Robbie, and that's just ridiculous. I loved everything. I
Yeah.
loved every storyline. I loved the way it was used. I adore this show. And what I
Mhm.
really want to do is when I get some free time in the next months or two, I want to watch all of the Karate Kids, not counting Jaden Smith, back to back to back to back, and then re-binge the show because I
It's
think that would
a
be such a
fine
fun watch.
movie.
It
But
is
yeah,
not. Do you actually
it's
like it?
I mean, it's nowhere near what the first two movies were, but I don't know, for what it was, I remember just thinking it was fine enough. I don't take it too seriously as like the other stuff.
What movie are you talking about?
The Jaden Smith one?
What do you mean the first two?
Well, I mean the first two original Karate Kid movies.
The third Karate Kid is better than the remake. The Hilary Swank one is better than the Jaden Smith remake. The Jaden Smith one sucks. And I like Jaden Smith a lot. And I love Jackie Chan. But it sucks. It's not good. No,
Well,
it's
it may
bad.
not be.
I remember as
It's
a
probably
kid,
not going to be involved in this show.
I remember as a kid sitting there going, this is not good. And maybe it's just because I loved the originals first so much,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not good. And you know
No,
what?
it's not as good as
Your
those.
Superman gets to be knocked over for that attitude you have.
DC wasn't DC
I'm
wasn't
not
supposed to be
taking it.
involved in this.
I'm not
How
handling what
dare
you
you?
ended 2020 on. You ended it with some whack stuff in your list. And I'm not here for 2021 being like that. I am coming blazing on
Hey.
you, sir.
Hey, Cobra Kai's amazing. What a great start for 2021.
Yep. All right, guys. That's our Cobra Kai review. Again, thank you to our patrons. Those will be flashing up above or down below. I haven't decided yet. I decided that when I edit. Go get our merch. All linked down in the description. You can follow me on Twitter. It's all down there. Kyle don't tweet, but yeah, do all that great stuff. Remember to like, subscribe, share us around, please. In the new year, let's make 2021 the year of the movie meals. And yeah, and thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.
You can get thanks for watching Mom shirts following the link down below.
Ooh, love it. Watch Cobra Kai.
Oh.